All right. Good evening, women in cryptocurrency, and thank you for joining me tonight on our keynote speaker, Mr. Daniel Wang with Loopring. I'm so glad that Mr. Daniel can join us all the way from China to discuss this opportunity with us. And so I'm going to introduce to you, this is Mr. Daniel Wang. Mr. Daniel, if you can go ahead and just tell us a little bit of background about yourself before we get into Loopring.
All right. First, thank you, Kendra, for having me here. My name is Daniel Wang. I'm from China. I'm not a native English speaker, so if you cannot understand me, just maybe send me email and to clarify some thing that I said. I'm from a technical or engineering background. I graduated from Arizona State University. I joined Google in 2006 as a software engineer. I used to work on their search engine and ads platform. And then later on, I came back to China to co-found several startups, including one cryptocurrency exchange back in 2014. I also worked for JD.com, which is the second largest e-commerce platform in China. So last year, about August last year, I and several other engineers, we came out with this idea, the Loopring idea, and we think it's really cool. So we quit our full-time job and start this non-profit organization to offer a set of open source software to for people to build decentralized exchanges. Mm-hmm. So that's about me.
Okay. And you said you had a centralized exchange?
I used to have a centralized exchange called CoinPort, which is very similar to the current centralized exchanges. So basically, the exchange and the other exchanges, they are custodial services. That means you have to trust those exchanges. You have to create an account and then deposit your crypto assets to the exchange before you can submit any orders. So it's all the same. So yeah, we used to have a very small centralized exchange in China.
Okay, so what made Loopring? Loopring? How did you come up with the concept, or what made you even want to create Loopring?
So basically, my experience in the previous exchange startup makes me understand a lot of outstanding challenges the centralized exchange model has. For example, they don't have a way to secure users' crypto assets, especially many assets are put into the hot wallet, which is online 24 hours a day, right? And hackers can always, mm-hmm. They are always trying their best to hack into exchange systems to steal away the money. So this is something that there's no perfect solution, right? You have to put a lot of money into the infrastructure to build like firewalls and very complicated solutions, and then the users have to pay for those for the cost. That makes listing cryptocurrencies more expensive. It makes trading fees higher than it should be. So lack of security, I think, is the #1 outstanding issue all the current exchanges are having right now. There are other issues like lack of transparency, because as a normal user, we don't have access to a lot of information inside the centralized exchange system, right? We only have access to a small portion of the data. We also have this lack of liquidity, meaning that there are right now maybe hundreds of centralized exchanges, big and small. But normal users, they have maybe 3, 5, up to 10, right? Not many people have a lot of exchange accounts because it takes time to register, to get verified, to submit those KYC documents. But institutional traders, they have a lot of accounts, right? And they have the capability to do some algo trading to take advantage of the information. So it's really unfair to normal users. So with these issues, lack of security, lack of transparency, lack of liquidity, and we think why not we trade crypto assets, which is on the blockchain, with the blockchain technology itself. So I think all the DEX protocol or projects, the core idea is to take advantage of the blockchain technology for people to do the trading without any trust. So the DEX is going to be a non-custodial service. That means you don't have to deposit your crypto asset to any third party, which you have to trust. And then you can submit orders, and all the trades are settled on-chain, meaning the crypto assets are going to be transferred from one account to another one by the smart contract itself. No third party, sorry about that, no third party get involved. So basically security is something we really want to focus and want to resolve.
Okay. Now, I know that Loopring, you're actually built on the Ethereum platform, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and you did partner with, I call them Quantum, but Qtum and Neo as well, correct? And the founder of Neo is actually on your advisory board.
Sorry, I didn't get that question. Sorry, can you repeat?
Oh, I was just confirming that the founder of Neo is on your advisory board.
Yes, Da Hongfei is one of the advisors to us. So you mentioned the Loopring is going to be deployed on multiple blockchains. So that's one of our strategies.
Oh, wow.
Because as a protocol, you need to be able to survive, even if the underlying blockchain ecosystem fall, right? So that's something we need to do in order to lower the risk that we have. Right now, Ethereum, I think, is still the best blockchain ecosystem, but who knows what's going to happen in 5-10 years. So we need to deploy Loopring on top of the new blockchains which have great potentials. That's also another way to reward our token holders, because if you hold our IRC token, we are going to airdrop a lot of tokens issued on the other blockchain system. So that's one of our strategies.
Wow. Okay, so by holding the token, are you airdropping Loopring or other tokens?
So the IRC token is a Loopring protocol token on top of Ethereum, right? It's going to be used as the matching fee, but this token cannot be transferred to another blockchain ecosystem. So on Neo, for example, we are going to issue another token called IRN, Loopring on Neo. So it is the same token, but only for Neo. If you have IRC, we are going to airdrop 60% of all the IRN total supply to IRC token holders.
Okay. Now, for those of us,
same for IRQ. Sorry about that.
You're fine. For those of us that have joined, Mr. Daniel, could you please explain what a open protocol is? I know Loopring is, focused on decentralized exchanges and open protocols. For those of us who do not understand, what that means, could you please simplify that?
Sure. So when we talk about protocols, we can use some examples. Let's say we have HTTP protocol, right? It is for the internet. So right now we have a lot of operating systems, Windows, Mac, iOS, Linux-based, but we only have one protocol for surfing the internet, which is the HTTP protocol. So to build browsers, the browser only have to follow the HTTP protocol and to implement those functionalities. They don't have to look into the operating system details. Okay. So a protocol makes the application developer much easier because it seals it hide some details of the underlying systems, right? So Loopring is a protocol for building decentralized exchanges. That means if you want to build a decentralized exchange, you don't have to worry about a lot about the underlying ecosystems like Ethereum or Neo or Quantum. Although they have very different design, they have different consensus algorithm, they have different block, data structures. You don't have to worry about that. Loopring extracts those information, the higher level interface for you, and you only need to focus on the application level. So a protocol is a set of rules that you have to follow and you should follow for people to build decentralized exchanges. That also makes exchanges can talk to each other because they follow the same rules.
Right.
So in the future, decentralized exchanges following the same protocol are going to be able to share orders together. They can join together to form a global or unique liquidity pool or order book. It's not like the centralized exchanges, they all have their own different design and data structure. So there's no way they can talk to each other.
So is this kind of like an alternative to arbitrage trading, where you're looking at all the exchanges and seeing, the different prices of tokens that are on the exchanges? By it being order sharing, are you able to get the best price of that order fulfilled from the different exchanges? Like, how does that work?
Well, the arbitrage is a pretty good business model, but Loopring is not designed for arbitrage. Loopring is designed with the mind matching as a service in mind. So there are several differences, very obvious differences from centralized exchange. First, we want to make sure people can trade right from their wallets. So by wallet, we really mean those non-custodial wallets, a wallet that holds your private keys.
Your private keys.
Right. So you don't have to trust anyone. You have to trust the open source, the wallet software. That's it, right? So Loopring enables people to trade right from their wallet. And during the entire trading process, your crypto asset is under your own control. So no third party can touch your money.
Because you own it. Because of the private key, you're the one that owns that crypto.
Exactly. And secondly, the front end and the back end of the decentralized system are going to be decoupled. Right now, if you go to any centralized exchanges, they offer the front end, maybe a web application or a iOS or Android app, or maybe some other forms, right? But they also have their own backend, so their front end talks to their backend only, right? So it's a tightly coupled pairs of software. So with Loopring or with any other decentralized protocol, we need to be able to, enable some people to offer only the front end. Let's say if I'm a front end developer, I can develop a wallet which enables Loopring trading. And then there may be another team who don't offer the software for end user, but only aggregates users' order into their backend system and do the matching. So the matching part is done by the backend, which is totally decoupled from the front end. That also means a lot of software, user-facing software, they can use the same backend, and the same backend can connect to multiple front end. So you have this totally decoupled front end and back end system, and they all get some revenue source. Right now, Loopring enables 20% of the mining fee to be paid to the front end, iOS, Android app, or web applications, and 80% of the trading fee goes to the miner. We call it the relayers. So so there are several ways you can be part of a DEX, a decentralized exchange. You can be, you can offer only the front-end software. You can offer only the software matching engine, right, the relayer. You can also go solo. That means it's very similar to the centralized exchange business model. You offer both the front end and the back-end software, and you connect those together. You don't share liquidity with others. And there's another one, which is
Okay, so it's not like nodes. When you said you don't share equipment with others, meaning so there's no other nodes that are in the network. It's just you.
yeah.
Okay.
And of course, you can, and we encourage people to share liquidity by broadcasting their users' order to multiple relayers or backends.
That's the
So
order sharing. Is that correct?
that's the order sharing. Yes.
Okay.
So just imagine you download a app, you submit the order, and then sometime later this app is not maintained anymore, right? It's going this app development team is going out of business, and your order is still somewhere in the relayer network system. So as
Mm-hmm.
long as one relayer still survive, your order can be
Be
matched.
fulfilled.
Yes. So in general, there's no single point of failure in a DEX system. That should be the case.
Right. Well, that's why it's decentralized. That's what you were
Exactly.
pushing for. So, could you tell me the difference between when you started, as you said, a centralized exchange, correct? And now you moved to the decentralized exchange. Was it because of the transparency, the security, and liquidity? Were those the three reasons why?
Well, to be honest, no. So I co-founded this CoinPort centralized exchange back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So I closed the business because the regulations in China, we don't have a way to open a bank account. We cannot accept fiat money deposit. So there's the business environment for a centralized exchange back in 2014 is really tough, especially for small businesses. For larger exchanges, they have a lot of money to go through that period, but we don't.
Right.
So I closed that business mainly because the environment is not friendly.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. And one thing that I did want to discuss as you and I were setting up this meeting, I noticed that we couldn't do it directly through Facebook. As I believe Lucina was telling me, there's internet regulations that's going on in China right now that you're not able to connect to Facebook and go live with me. I did think that. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so let's go ahead and do the Zoom instead. And I believe Substratum, I don't know if you've heard of that coin, but he actually came out with that coin for this reason, to provide decentralized internet for those who don't have access to it because of regulation.
Mhm.
Didn't know that. Okay. I
Yeah,
just thought that
can
was
I
an
can I
interesting point to
comment
throw out
on that, if I may? Yeah, we have this great firewall in China. I cannot, without using VPN, I cannot log into Facebook, Twitter, a lot of other websites.
there.
And
Uh-huh.
the blockchain the technology is still built on top of like TCP/IP protocol, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like the DNS system. So there's always a way for a government to shut down a blockchain. So right now, there's no way the blockchain is censorship. There's no way to.
Shut it down.
Right,
Interfere.
yeah, actually, there is a way to shut down the blockchain system. Let's say you can always detect some signals from uh, the packets from the IP level. So you can always detect, this is like a Bitcoin package, and the firewall can just block that package. So there's no way, the Bitcoin can run if the government decide to block Bitcoin. So any blockchain system can be blocked by the government if they
Mm-hmm.
want. So um, to build a really anti-censorship blockchain ecosystem, you need to do more research to replace maybe even the IP level technology. So right now we are only on top of the traditional centralized internet infrastructure. We are not truly decentralized yet.
Okay. Okay. And by when it is centralized, that's when you're able to go in and say, for instance, you have ownership. You're giving yourself ownership of that exchange. So say if you wanted to shut down the sale or trade of a coin, you could go in and simply stop trading. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And with the decentralized exchange, that's not the option. Like there's no one person who can go in and shut down a trade or stop a
Well,
coin.
right now, it really depends on the business model of the decentralized exchange. So there are many startups or projects, they claim to be a decentralized exchange, but they are not. They still offer their website, they still offer app, their URL. So as long as they have a URL, they have a set of static IPs, they are not truly decentralized, and they can always be shut down.
Yeah.
So right now we are in the middle of being decentralized. So right now, our technology and our competitors, we offer this solution so that users' money, their crypto assets are protected, are secure. Even if the backend or the entire DEX operation team, they go away. They cannot run away with your money because your money is always under your own control.
Right.
But this service, the service itself can be shut down. That's still there's still a single point of failure there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I know right now with Loopring is, we've seen a lot of airdrops that Loopring has been doing. Where is Loopring in regards to their roadmap?
Well, we have a roadmap for this year on our website. We have also posted on Medium. So I think we are way ahead of our roadmap. We didn't plan to offer the iOS app in Q2, but we are going to launch it in Q2. And in Q3, we are also going to launch our Android app. In the late Q3 or even early Q4, we are going to offer a major upgrade of our Protocol, the 2.0 version, which is going to be much more generalized and customizable. So it will suit more use case and scenarios. So we are going to offer a lot more open source software to help our users to build their DEX system.
Okay. All right. Now the users, you stated these are front end developers and back end developers.
Mm-hmm.
Any full stack developers?
Well, what I really mean is some teams that they want to help, they want to set up their own business by being part of DEX ecosystem. So they are not just independent developer. They are teams. Right now we are connecting with 6 developing teams. They all focus on mobile apps. They want to integrate with Loopring. So in the next month, I think we are going to see the very first app, which is a wallet with Loopring integrated. They're going to launch it in China and the US. So from there, we can expect more apps integrating with Loopring to offer DEX trading experience.
Okay, we do have a question for you, Mr. Daniel, and it's coming from Rayshawn. Are you at a place with Loopring where you are considering sponsorship for businesses like the Blockchain Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, we actually have a Loopring Ecosystem Advancement Fund, and that fund is used to either invest into some wallet or relayer business or to incentivize people to contribute to the Loopring ecosystem. We also sponsored some, blockchain advocates to help normal people to understand what blockchain technology is, what DEX protocol and decentralized exchanges are. So yeah, we are open to discuss.
Okay, and when were you listed on the exchange? I believe you are on Binance. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are on a lot of major exchanges. I think except besides, I think Huobi is the one we are not listed on, and except Huobi, I don't think we have missed any major exchanges. So we are pretty good in terms of being listed.
Okay. Now, I did want to ask, from holding Loopring, do you accumulate anything such as holding Neo? You accumulate gas, holding Loopring? Are we accumulating any other token?
No, Loopring LRC token is a utility token. It doesn't guarantee any income or any other like dividend. But whenever we deploy on another blockchain, we are going to airdrop the majority of the new tokens to our LRC token holders. So that's not uh, a binding. It's not bounded by legally. It's something we want to help our LRC token holders to win the future, but it's not 100% guaranteed because otherwise it's going to be a security. So Loopring
Yeah.
is not a security token.
Okay. I was going to ask that as well when, especially with doing business here in the United States, SEC is really definitely cutting down on that and putting a lot of regulation in. We just spoke to another member who is in blockchain, and she actually has a security token just so
Mhm.
she could be compliant. Now, since you are in both countries, ICO in China and then security token here, but you don't want Loopring to be a security token. Is that correct?
Well, it really depends. So we have a lawyer. We worked with a law firm from Canada. They
Mm-hmm.
issued a statement saying that Loopring's token LRC is not a security token. But I also talked to some people from the Wall Street, and they believe all the tokens are security tokens. So it really depends. What the criteria are. Uh, I don't mind if my token is categorized as a security token, as long as there's a way we can register the token, it should be fine. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, if it doesn't matter whether you think your token is security or utility, there's no way you can get it registered.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. All right. From our watchers, anyone have any questions for Mr. Daniel while we have him on here? Mr. Daniel, I hear you have an awesome team. A lot of people from Google. I believe the other company was PayPal as well. Is that correct?
We don't have a lot of people from Google. We have two. We have two engineers. One of them is me. The other one is working on uh, the mathematical part of the protocol, some theory stuff. And he's also from a engineering background. But we
Okay.
have many people from like well-established, well-known internet companies in China,
Mm-hmm.
including like Alibaba Group, like JD.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alibaba, Jack Ma. Okay. That's
So basically,
awesome.
we are an engineering team. We have like 25 people, and 20 of them are engineers. Only
Mm.
five are engineers. So you don't see a lot of like marketing events from us. We are not really good at it.
No, no, that's always something that you can build on and work on. You have a great team. I think her name is Lucina. She's pretty awesome. She's a part of Women in Cryptocurrency. She's the one who brought the opportunity to me about Loopring and set up this meeting with us. She's pretty great so far with following up, providing me information about yourself. So, she provides information in Women in Cryptocurrency about Loopring as well. A lot of us do follow your Telegram channel. I do think you update that enough, especially in this space. Even if you aren't marketing as well, as long as you're like engaging with your community, like if you're on Medium, if you're on LinkedIn, or maybe Bitcoin Talk, or how you are here with me speaking to me, or on YouTube, you know that is your marketing. You're marketing yourself. So far, we've been getting a great response. For those of us, Mr. Daniel, who do want to invest in Loopring, how would we go about doing that? Do we just buy it off an exchange, or do we need to set up a wallet? How would we go doing that?
Well, if you understand Loopring protocol pretty well, I encourage you to compare it with other DEX protocols to make sure
Like
you. like
0x?
Zero X, Kyber. We don't have many actually. A lot of exchanges, a lot of DEX, they are
But
still
your
using.
decentralized exchanges, guys, DEX, it's like just an
Right, right. So what I'm saying is,
acronym.
you need to do enough research before you buy anything, because right now on the market, if you look at the coins, the tokens, I think 95% of them are going to
On a decline.
go away. Even some of
Mhm.
those in the top 20 or even 10
Yeah,
list are still not worth investing. So really need to take some time to do the research, because you are going to
exactly.
invest real money into the space, right? But in general, I think blockchain has a great future. Uh, if if I may advise to invest in this sector, buy some Ether, buy some Bitcoin, and start from there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I always recommend those two because they're legacy coins and they've just been around. And then they're the most popular trading pairs at that. I always recommend those coins as well. And I'm glad that you did touch on that, unless that coin really does have a utility, there's it's kind of like no purpose for investing in it unless it's really already in use. So thank you for touching on that because we do educate about that all the time. As we have been focusing more on, letting people know you can own as many coins as you like, but if you don't really have an understanding of how your coin works or are following along with your team or seeing if that the team behind that coin is engaging or if they do have a vision that is actually solving a real world problem, you probably shouldn't be investing in that coin. And you probably shouldn't be investing if you don't have the money to invest either. But thank you so much, of course, Mr. Daniel, for any of us who are, beginning, because we have a lot of newbies in this space. So we do thank you for letting us know, do your research before getting involved. A lot of us just aren't familiar with the back end, of the blockchain. And if
Mhm.
someone wanted to know or get more technically involved, where would you direct them to begin?
Well, don't invest by yourself. Maybe invest, maybe become part of a crypto fund, a token fund, and rely on some experts who really want to invest their time into the research. Uh, they may yield a better result. Otherwise, investment is a profession that not everyone is qualified, right? So
Mm-hmm.
don't do the investment. Don't invest a lot by yourself. Just put it into a fund. Maybe a good idea.
We have another question for you, Mr. Daniel. Are there any plans for some type of internships for up and coming developers?
We do have some internship, but not a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
during the summer, if people want to join Loopring, they can send us their email to foundation.loopring.org.
Could you
We
put
can.
that in the group chat, please, if you don't mind?
Sure.
That URL. That way we can always reference back to it for those of us who, re-listen to it. Then perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. And that's regards to internships, correct? Or just
Yes.
information. All
Right, right.
right.
So if you want to be part of the DEX, that's really easy. Just go to our GitHub repository, clone our iOS app, and refresh the UI. Do some uh, create a new logo, and then you have a front end. You have app, and that app, all the orders submitted from that app, their trading fee is going to be paid to the app developer, 20% of them. So it's a pretty good start for small team.
Okay. Trey, that may be something that you're interested in. I know you're working on back end development. As you can see, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Mike Bonner, he's into back end development and has built an awesome team. So that was awesome information for him.
I understand
And
completely that.
since we do have him on, Trey, I just would like Mr. Daniel, if you could go, and then we're not going to keep you much longer. But since he is, he develops in Python and he does have a development group that he is working on.
Mhm.
How could he go about, being a part of Loopring?
Well, so Loopring, first of all, Loopring is not for profit. So we offer zero cost consulting. We offer technical support without charging any fees. So if you want to be part of this DEX ecosystem, we can set up a group chat so that your engineers can talk to our engineers directly to explore our GitHub repositories. And you can decide from there whether you want to do the wallet, the relayer, or both.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. All right. Well, any other questions, guys?
Did
No.
you
I
guys?
know it's like 10:11 in China right now, isn't it, Mr. Daniel? 8.
Yes.
Okay, and how can we reach you?
Well, do you have my WeChat? In China, we use WeChat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you can reach me really conveniently by using WeChat, or you can just send an email to daniel@loopring.org.
Daniel at loopring.org. Okay.
Yeah. Twitter, I don't use Twitter a lot in China because it's blocked. So
Right.
I'm on the move all the day. So I don't have a stable connection from my VPN. So I don't use Telegram or Twitter in China. So when I go back to the US, I use those softwares a lot.
Okay. Okay. So you said WeChat is a good one to reach you on?
Yes, Telegram is not when I was in China.
Not
I'm in
okay,
China.
so
It's
WeChat.
blocked. It's
Okay.
blocked.
Is there a specific group? I'm not on WeChat, which is why I'm asking the questions. Is there a specific group they would have to join on WeChat?
No, you can just add me as a friend, and then we can start from there.
Oh,
We can create a group dynamically. It's really easy.
okay. Wonderful. And okay, you just answered this question. We won't be able to reach you during Telegram. Not a problem. All right. All right. Well, Mr. Daniel, we thank you so much for taking the time to come on and speak with us. Of course, I'm definitely going to post this in the Women in Cryptocurrency group. Sorry about that live not happening, but hey, we have participants now. What we like to do is re-invite our guests back in a few months just to get an update on, where you are on your roadmap, what has taken place from the use cases that you have experienced, what are the things that you have learned and are implementing now.
Mhm.
So I would definitely love to invite you back on in a few months just to have an update on where Loopring is at that time.
That'll be great. Thank you so much, Andrew, for having me here. And I think July is a wonderful time for us to reconnect, so
Okay.
that I can give you an update because before July we have a lot of things planned. So we are also very excited about what's going to happen in the near term.
Certainly. Well, we will be on the lookout for that. I'll reach out to you, of course, if something pops up and you need to reach out to me before that. I'll be on the lookout for it. Other
Great.
than that, congratulations. Good luck. This is a good time to be in blockchain, and we definitely appreciate your insight. And then you just being a trailblazer in this space.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
Of
Have a good
course.
night. Bye, guys.
Have a good day. It's night here, but have a great day.
Okay. Bye bye.
Take care.
Hey,